Hello, my name's Dawn Campbell. I'm a volunteer part of the management team at the IAPCNM, and I'm here today with Carole Ann Rice from Pure Coaching. Welcome, Carole Ann.
Hi, thank you, Dawn.
So I'm going to dive straight in because I know that we've got lots of good questions to get through in this next 30-40 minutes that our listeners want to hear. And I'm going to ask you firstly, describe your coaching from how you got to where you were to the fabulous, successful businesswoman that you are today.
Okay, thank you. Well, I trained to be a coach about 17 years ago, and I trained with Coach You, and it seems like, well, it is a lifetime ago, it's a whole generation ago, and it was really one of the only really big, well-respected coaching schools in the world, and Coach You really, they say, started it all. But then it was a 2-year course, and you had to phone America 4 times a week on a special tariff. It went on a carousel. There was 40 modules you had to complete, and if you missed that module, you had to wait for it to come around the carousel several months' time. It might be 4 a.m. you're making the call to America to do a 4-week module on confidence. So it took a long time to complete the training, and you're on a teleclass basically with 20 other coaches from around the world. So it could be someone from Miami, someone from Russia, someone from China. And you did the coursework in the classroom without Skype in those days, so just on a telephone call.
Okay.
So it was, I would say, a very long course, and about 2/3 of the material was unnecessary. It was just academic, purely academic. Oh, the art of questioning, but it went into kind of word definitions, and it was very in depth, but really quite unnecessary for the day-to-day needs of a coach.
Okay.
And from there started my own business, the Real Coaching Company. Started very slowly. It was hard in those days, and then it picked up. And 4 years ago, having coached quite a lot of coaches who weren't making it, I thought, well, what we need is a really good coaching academy. And actually, a client suggested to me that we might like to create a coaching academy, and it was really his idea. And we ran with it, and the Pure Coaching Academy started very small, and then it built, and it's becoming, quite well known now. And thanks to your support, getting the accreditation, it now has the kind of authority it needs to be a really good coaching academy.
Okay, and that was about 4 years ago you started Pure Coaching.
That was 4 years ago. The first one I ran, I did it at half price, and I had about 11 or 12 students. The second one I put up to full price, and I had 2 students.
Okay.
So that was two trainee coaches plus 2 coaches, taking them through the 8-week course. And in fact, one flew in from Madrid every week, and she wanted to drop out. So that would have been 1 student and 2 coaches. So I have to say to people listening to this, even it is scary when you start up, but have the faith, run it anyway, whether it's a workshop or not. Even if you get 1 person in, just give it your all. This woman didn't drop out, and we did have the 2 coaches for it, and then it kind of picked up from there, and I'm getting 10 or 12 people on each course now, so it's building.
Yeah, fantastic. So what would you say was the big break that you had that was the catalyst for you becoming a solo entrepreneur to head of your company?
I think it was because of someone had faith in me. A client had faith in me and said that he'd been looking at this model in Australia at the coaching academy, and it could be replicated here. I thought it sounded about as likely as climbing K2 in stilettos. I just thought, there is no way I could do this. It's only me and my clients. How could I possibly start an academy? But I think if anyone believes in you, really truly believes in you, you can, well, that's what we do as coaches, you can do incredible things. And sometimes you need someone else to be the catalyst to, I don't know, have faith in you, give you a bit of support, and then you find that you are building something in little steps at a time.
It's funny, isn't it, how somebody can see our light shining and we're quite oblivious to it.
Always, yes. I think you just think, oh, this old thing, I just do this every day. But anything that's really easy is usually your strength. And just because it's easy to you doesn't mean to say that it's not an amazing gift or skill that you've got,
Yeah, I can relate to that because I've been writing a book for years, and I say I've been writing it for years because I keep changing the message slightly as I have evolved. And then there's this gremlin in me that says, you know, who's going to read your book? There are hundreds of books like this, and you can talk yourself out of it. So what you've said about having faith and somebody who believes in you is actually really quite important, isn't it?
Very important. And, you know, none of us are totally original. And you may be saying something that has been said before, but it hasn't been said in Dawn's way before. And that's why people will read your book.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist as well. I've got stacks and stacks and four floor high books here that I get sent in from publishers. I've read a lot of them. It's all pretty much the same old message, just done in a slightly different way. And yet people will buy all these different books to get the same message written in a different way. So it's absolutely fine. And just where I live here in West London, there's 7 hairdressers on the strip out here. How do they all thrive? Well, one is a barber's, one is a traditional old-fashioned barber's, one's a men's grooming thing, an old curl-up and dye hairdressers for old ladies, a Polish hair. You go to where, and same with coaches, it's not a flooded market. You go to the person that you want to go to coach you or do your hair, or that book that you want to read.
Yeah, it's true that despite the fact that we sometimes think the coaching market is saturated with quotes of 80,000 coaches in the UK alone, people still buy people. And that's where the law of attraction comes in. If you put out the right message, the clients will find you.
Yes. I think you also get the clients that you want and you deserve. You know, so we all have different strengths as coaches, and sometimes some clients you're not going to be the best coach for them, but another different type of coach will be just right for them. And I think it's about getting the right fit. Equally, as coaches, we need a coach. Find the right fit for you. You know how that is. You've got to trust your coach. You've got to feel comfortable, and you've got to have a really good relationship with them. And, you know, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay too.
I think, Carole Ann, that's also a skill of a really great coach as well, because if you recognize that you're predominantly kinesthetic and you're dealing with a client who's very visual, if you're able to have clean language and mirror the clients and put your own characteristics to one side, rather than be what I call the run-of-the-mill cookie cutter coach, where somebody's going to say, oh, we just don't gel, I don't get it, you know, you're not for me. A really great coach can actually use the skills they've got and the training to work with just about anybody. But you've still got to have that chemistry. But a good coach who's had really great training and CPD can, I think, get over some of those issues.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I have coached some extraordinary people that, you know, that might be very difficult for others to coach. But at the end of the day, I see it as a human being that we're coaching, whether they're a scientist, burlesque dancer, writer, CEO, super rich, whatever. It's the person I coach. And occasionally, and I think this is really important for coaches to note as well, there might be clients that you genuinely do not want to coach. And when you have your trial session or your consultation, that is equally a 50% opportunity for the coach to decide, do I want to work with this person? And I use intuition. If I feel anxious when I'm speaking to someone, if I think they're going to be, I don't know, maybe borderline abusive or not take it seriously or going to be extraordinarily challenging in an unpleasant way, I will use that conversation and testing with myself. I don't really want to work with this person, but someone else might be the perfect coach for them, you know?
And that takes a huge amount of confidence, I think, Carole Ann, to be in that position, because particularly when you're a practitioner starting out, you want to work with every client because all you can see is the dollar signs. You don't want to turn clients away, so you try and put a square peg in a round hole. And I think you just have to be honest and let that person go and accept that others will come to you instead.
I think it is about confidence and experience, as you say, Dawn. Because when I first was a coach, it was anything with a pulse, and that was optional. It's like if I went to Tesco's and someone was stacking the shelves, I'd say, like, you don't need to be doing this all your life. You know, you need to get. I would go to anybody. You need a coach. You need a coach. You need a coach. You need anyone, because you're like, will my coaching business ever take off? I just said to everyone, I can coach you. You need a coach. And then you suddenly get the most difficult clients. You know, I think this is the weird sort of law of attraction thing, is when you're least experienced, when you first start out as a coach, you will get the most challenging clients. It's almost like you're in at the deep end that even now I would say no to, but you're taking them on because you're new and you're a newbie coach. And they really will stretch you and move you along very, very quickly. And the tougher clients are the ones that actually make you grow. And you get them at the beginning of your coaching profession. I think maybe because the universe is saying, come on, jump in, really see what all these different, everyone likes the lovely client who just says yes, no, does their homework and writes the book in 3 weeks. Fantastic. But actually the real clients that make you stretch are the ones who are challenging, are difficult, are closed off, and you're having to do a lot of work, and in doing that work you're growing. So they're like a gift to you.
Yes, yeah. And that's why it's really important that people think about their CPD, because the feedback that they get and the self-reflection after these so-called very difficult calls, because I know that sometimes and it still happens, I might think, I didn't do a very good job with that coaching call, I should have done better, I should have done this, and then the next day I might get an email say thank you, that was fantastic, and I think, oh, it was better than I thought.
You don't know.
So that self-reflection and learning from the feedback is an ongoing thing, isn't it?
It really is, and I think it's good to be self-critical and afterwards think, how did that go for me? What could I have done better? And then you learn every time I do that. And even if it was something as simple as, I do a lot of face-to-face sessions at my club. Even a simple thing like, why did I have to scrabble around in the bottom of my handbag to try and find a pen? That wasn't a great look. Next time, I've now set my handbag up, my briefcase up. So immediately, I've got my pen, I've got my, so even little things like, how did I do with this? Yeah, that was a bit awkward when I couldn't find my diary. So next time, it's all ready, I'm complete. So, it helps to kind of make you more of an excellent coach, even the smallest details.
Yeah, that's a good tip, actually. So what would be something that you would say to somebody who aspires to be like you? I mean, you've recently had a fabulous award for Businesswoman of the Year, and you must have lots of people who think, I want what you've got. What would you say to them, Carole Ann, particularly during the difficult times, and you've had to pick yourself up and keep yourself motivated? What would you say to those inspirational or aspirational people?
Yeah, and thanks. I was won Best Coach in the Best Business Women's Awards. We all have the tough times, that's business, that's how it is, and at the beginning it's really tough for every coach, but I always say stick with it. If you love what you're doing, don't give up, and remember it's in those tough times that you learn new skills. Now, even now it goes quiet sometimes, so what do? I might go and learn a new skill. I'll go on a workshop. I will maybe even take a little tiny bit of time out to see friends and let the energy change a bit, because when it becomes despairing, it becomes you're needy, and we shouldn't be needy coaches. We want clients, but we shouldn't be needy of them. So go and learn from what other people are doing and use it as a time to hone, to come up with new ideas, new packages, even if it's like a £10 package and you get 3 people on a call once a week. Those 3 people go and tell other people. So even if you're thinking, I can't sell the big price packages, start doing small online courses, or even a cappuccino coaching session at a local cafe where you get six people come once a week, and you go through, let's do confidence, let's do goal setting, let's do timekeeping, and get out there. The more people who know about you, that's someone else going to a dinner party or having a coffee with a friend saying, guess what, I used a coach the other day. Oh, really? What's the name? You've got to get out there, you've got to be visible. I think networking is brilliant. That's the single thing that really truly built my business. We can all sit in our little home offices here. We need to be out there. We're people, and we need people to see us. And so go to networking events, find one that really works for you. It's got to be easy to get to, a pleasant environment and friendly people. And look at the people who go there. Could they help you? Can you do swapsies, IT, instruction, social media, tutoring in return for some coaching? And again, that's another advocate going out there saying, oh, I've used this brilliant coach. The more people talking about you and connecting with you, the better it will be. And when the times get tough, go and see some of those people again and offer them a special 2-for-1 or something. You have to do everything to keep going, but you will get, like anything in life, if you want it badly enough, keep taking the steps in the right direction, and sooner or later it will all pay off.
You sound very creative, Carole Ann. It's almost like you have to keep reinventing yourself every time you've got a bit of a lull. What can I do next? You need that creativity, don't you?
Always. Think about what's going on, the time of year, stress after Christmas. What about making 2018 the year that you finally got what you wanted? Really have compelling messages for people, because, we're behind America here. In America, coaches they're like up there with celebrities and lawyers and very, very famous people. Here we've got a bit more of an educational work to do.
Yeah.
let people know how they can use your services. It could be, health and well-being. It could be big dream manifestation, starting a business, getting more time, making more money. But the general public don't know what we do generally. So we have to keep coming up with lacing the hook with a new bit of bait. Oh, I didn't know that you did that. Oh, I didn't know you could help with that. I didn't, and keep sending the messages out. And one day it will land at the right place at the right time, and someone will say, that's exactly what I've been looking for. But you have to be the lighthouse, sending out the messages all the time, and then people come to you. Because they're not going to say, oh, do you know what, I've just woken up this morning and think I need a life coach. They might, but most people need a little bit of a cajoling. Oh, I didn't know you did that, and that you could help me with that,
Yeah. And they're going to wait until the pain is strong enough to think, right, okay. But I think it would help if the 80 so-called 1,000 coaches in Britain had a decent mission statement instead of, hello, my name is, I'm a life coach. It doesn't really, fill the public with a great deal of information. So I think you're right. It is awareness and education. And that's one of the things I know we're working on with initiatives like this interview, for instance, letting the public know what coaching is about, and that anybody can have a coach for anything. A bit like EFT, it's very effective. Anybody can do it at any time, anywhere. Just 10 minutes in the corridor with an experienced coach can completely change things for you.
Yes, absolutely.
How did you actually decide? Because I don't know where you were or what you did before you even went on that Coach U course. How did coaching become a thing for you, Carole Ann?
Yeah, I was a journalist working on a newspaper in Birmingham, and I was in the London office of that newspaper, and then there was a big round of redundancies, and I thought, I know I'll get made redundant because I'm not in the Birmingham office. I'm 120 miles away, so I was one of the the 15 of us who were told at the time. And although I was indignant for about 2 or 3 days, like, oh, how can they make me redundant? I had read in the Hairdressers some time before about a woman who had used a life coach. She was a journalist and said, I wasn't earning enough money, I was drinking too much, I was tired, my relationship was suffering. She fell asleep on the tube and ended up in Hainault or somewhere. And then she'd hired a coach. And I was reading this thinking, oh, this sounds amazing. She was earning more money, feeling fantastic. And so when I was made redundant, the little bit of redundancy money I got, I kept that magazine article and I phoned, and I got the journalist who'd written the piece, who had then had to train to become a coach, and her name was Susie Greaves. And she was my coach for 18 months, and she helped me set up as a freelance writer. That's what I wanted to get out of the coaching, because I'd only been on staff with the newspaper. So I ended up writing for The Sun, The Mirror, The Independent, Red Magazine, and Susie helped me as my life coach to do all that. And then she said, I think you'd make a really good coach. And we'd never met or had Skype. We'd only ever had telephone coaching. And she said, I think you'd be a really good coach. Why don't you retrain? And I was like, no. I'm a journalist. I can't possibly give up halfway through my life and retrain. And she said, oh, well, listen, if you train properly, I'll take you on as an associate. And that's the power of telephone coaching. We'd never met. And just the relationship we'd built over 18 months, she had the confidence to say, if you train properly, I'll take you on as an associate. So I trained at Coach U, which she recommended. I did work with Susie for a while afterwards. And then she's gone back into journalism. She's now editor-in-chief of Psychology's magazine. Yeah, she's not a coach anymore. Well, she does a tiny bit of the coaching. She was hugely inspirational. I've never met anyone so on side with me. I absolutely adored my coach. I felt she really helped me, really got me. I felt really supported in a way that family and friends, frankly, don't really do. And it was just lovely for this woman to be so on my side, And so I was taken with it. And so from there, I built up my own business afterwards. But I was very lucky to have this brilliant coach. All those years ago,
I remember reading some of Susie's books.
The Big Leap.
So that sounds like one of the lovely moments in your journey.
Definitely life-changing in every possible way.
Okay. And what about the point where you realized that this was going to be your future, this was going to be your life's work, to touch people's lives and make a difference? Was there an aha moment for you, Carole Ann?
Yeah, I think when I had my first, we're all absolutely panic stricken when we've just graduated and we start coaching, and it's like I had all my books out on my desk, all my little notes and my questions to ask, and it was all telephone coaching. And like, I was so panicked. And then when you get the feedback, that really helped, and you get the fantastic comments, and the clients tell you, "I changed my life," or that is when it was like the biggest buzz I'd ever had. And I think in the top 10 things of what makes people happy, being of service to others is in the top 5 if you look under any kind of surveys of what makes human beings happy. So to be of service to others and get paid for it, and to be you, i.e. you're not working for some faceless corporate where you have to toe the line. You're inventing your own coaching business, and people are paying for you to be you as a professional, helping them. Well, bingo. Yeah. It's just still the biggest buzz ever. I never have a day where I think, oh, I don't want to go to work. I had that every day when I was a journalist. Every single day, that dread, that Sunday night, oh, I've got work tomorrow, oh, can't bear it. Never have that now. Look forward to clients, love my day. Can't believe I've got a job, really, or a it's like, it's just lovely,
It's like Nick Williams say, do the work you're born to do and you'll never work another day in your life.
This is it. Yeah, fantastic. And I really do love it. I mean, I say it was hard, and I was just saying to someone this morning, the marketing thing gets me down. I find the sheer slog, the perpetual rolling ball of marketing, you're having to push up the hill, get people to look at the website, get people to check you out on Twitter and Facebook, and now the social media thing has gone crazy. But you've got to be relevant. You had a coach say to me the other day, I'm old school, I'm not doing social media. Well, that's like saying, well, Perry Como is my favourite and I'm not having anything to do with Elvis Presley. You have to roll with it. You have to not be the old stick in the mud who says, I'm not going to embrace it. It will happen anyway.
Yeah.
So social media's coming up. You have to jump on board. And if you can't do it, because I'm not exactly a spring chicken, get someone else to do it for you. Get someone to help you with it, but you can't ignore it.
I think that's a very valid point, Carole Ann, because I remember working for a woman who said to me, I know what I'm good at, and everything I'm not, I hire giants around me, and that's why you're doing sales, and that's why you're whatever. And I think, particularly for the solo entrepreneur coaches and mentors and therapists, it's another massive leap of faith to say, actually, in order to free me up to do what I'm good at, which is coaching, I need to pay for somebody to do my admin. I need to pay for somebody to do my marketing, etc.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't take that leap of faith.
No, they won't. Well, you have to. Or that's the other great thing about when I started networking, is that some people did swap things for me.
Yeah, trade.
Yes. And you've got other new solo startups who are thinking, I need some testimonials for my website. So why don't, I asked this coach if I can do a little bit of social media for 2 months for her. If she does a fantastic testimonial for me and gives me some coaching, win-win both ways. So we all need to have testimonials and people waving the flag for us. So I think it's entirely possible that you could get a new startup, say, yeah, I'll happily give you some cut price social media coaching or whatever.
And I think testimonials, people forget about those. And when I'm a mentor to my students, I say, get the testimonials now from your pro bono people, because when you throw open the doors and say, hey, world, hire me, they're going to say, who are you? And testimonials will sell you better than you can sell yourself. Yeah. And I know one of your USPs as a training provider, Carole Ann, is kind of plugging that gap between becoming accredited as a great coach and having some business acumen. So do you talk about the importance of trading in your business skills?
Definitely, but also the last 3 weeks of the coaching course is all about business. I mean, we do some intensive life coaching training with all the skills that you need to move your clients on. But I'm really hot, and so is my co-coach Carol Boskert, in helping our coaches price their packages well, to value themselves, to really hold the line as coaches, as career professionals, to have a compelling offer to the public, and to be professional in how they set up their websites, how they present themselves on social media, and give them lots and lots and lots of marketing ideas for them to action. Because I've met so many coaches who sell for thousands of pounds on my coach training and I get one client a month, I have to go back to the day job, or I'm doing another course in aromatherapy or massage, and it's like, okay, well now you're diluting your offer, and they get very dispirited. And I think the main thing is you've got to see it as a business. If you had a cafe, you've got to get people to come into your cafe. You've still got to market yourself, and the coaches really need to know that it's like 2/3, not even that, probably a third coaching, and the other 2/3 is the marketing and business side of it.
Yeah. Really, and I know you're as concerned as the IAPCNM with this. Was we met with a couple of other people, didn't we, in the summer to talk about this gap, how some great coaches were just disappearing because of their lack of business acumen, which was the confidence, and the number one really was the sales and marketing. It's kind of odd considering coaching is a communication, and that's all sales is. It's networking with people. But people don't want to sell me PLC. They're just frightened. They've got this perception that sales is something dirty and hard and unwanted, etc. But if they can get over that and just think, I'm just having a conversation with everybody, like you did, the Tesco's cashier and somebody at business, women who lunch or business breakfast meetings and so on. Every single opportunity, and network like an Olympian, giving you out your cards everywhere, following it up, having some sort of system.
Yes.
Crucial. Otherwise, you're going to sit there at home waiting for the phone to ring.
It won't happen.
No.
And it's absolutely. You have to be very visible. You have to get out there. You have to put a lot of effort in. And even now I have to do it. I've been doing it for 15 years. Still have to keep the ball rolling every day, twittering every day, a bit of Facebook, newsletters once a week. Keep it going. And you're right. People do think being salesy is somehow dirty or hard. But actually, what if you reframe it and say, I'm being helpful? I want to help people, and I want people to know these are the services I offer that could help them. So you're not selling to them, you're helping them. I can help you with that. Or you say you're always late. Well, I can help people with time management. Or you're working really hard but not earning enough. I help people with that sort of thing. When you say it that way, not like, oh, you need to speak to me, here's my card, but why don't we have a coffee and I'll tell you how I might help you with this issue. Suddenly, I would love it if someone said to me, Carole Ann, are you really struggling with something? Yeah, well, let me show you how I might help you. Yes, please. That's not salesy to me. That sounds like, that's brilliant. Take the pen away, please. I want you to tell me about what you do. If you get people in that place where you're helpful and you're just telling them how you might improve their lives and their businesses, it gets better for them. You're not selling as a coach.
I really like that. And if you could just bottle that and encapsulate it on the website, I think a lot of people could relate to that, because that's why they came into coaching themselves, but somehow they've forgotten what it did for them. And they're focused on sales, marketing, websites, the sort of all the mundane part of it, when really all they want to do is coach, but they haven't linked the pieces in the jigsaw, have they?
No, they haven't. And that's quite often, we don't know what we don't know, do we? There's areas that we just can't see. But I think have courage, believe in yourself. I've had worked with coaches who say, look, I'm now going to do a hypnotherapy course, I'm adding CBT and NLP. That's fine. How many clients have you got? None. So you're spending all this money on another diploma or another thing. Yeah, well, that'll help me get clients. No, it won't.
Yes.
Well, I want a bigger offer. Yeah, but you haven't got any clients, and they're not coming to you because you're not offering NLP, CBT, and all the rest of it. It's because you're not believing in yourself as a coach and getting your business set up. So what happens is the coach feels underconfident and somehow they're not good enough, and then they go and do another degree, another diploma. 3 years down the line, have you got any more clients from it? No. So I'm going to do another diploma. Okay.
A massive distraction technique, isn't it?
Yes, and it's not that. If you're really trained properly as a life coach, you will have a fantastic toolkit there to change someone's life around. If you want to add NLP and all the other things, great. But essentially, a really well-trained coach, you don't need a lot more on top of that unless you're specialising,
And to be honest, I've mentored many counsellors and therapists who wish they had done coaching first. And it would have made them a better therapist or counsellor and so on. So it seems to me, from the feedback I've had, coaching is the optimum skill. It kind of underpins all the others because it's about communication. And even if somebody goes on the course and does nothing with it, it's improved the communication in their life at home and work.
Yes, absolutely. I've had that as well. I've had psychotherapists say, wish I could learn some coaching skills. And I've also had other people say, I'm a hypnotherapist, but really I need to learn coaching skills, you know, and I've had people who've been in therapy and said the coaching was more beneficial.
Yeah.
You know,
I see this as a big opportunity for companies like yourself, Carole Ann, because more and more corporates are saying, I don't want my management team to become coaches, but I want them to develop coaching skills.
yes.
Do you see that happening too?
I would love that. Yeah, I'd love them to all come and train with me. But yeah, I do see that. And I'm actually getting people come on the course who they don't want to become life coaches, but they're sales managers.
Yeah.
Or they've got network marketing businesses like Arbonne, or what do you call it, the warehouse company that does all power warehouse things, utilities warehouse, coming on the course because they've got a network marketing business that will have salespeople selling products on their behalf, and it's like a pyramid sales thing. But every day they've got to motivate those solo reps to do the best, to have a goal, to have big dreams, to get over their confidence issues, to make the cold calls. So I'm getting people like that come on the course. They're not wanting to be coaches, but they want to coach their sales teams and encourage and motivate and inspire the people beneath them to be better at what they do.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I'm certainly getting more inquiries about which training provider should I go to. I don't want to be a life coach. I just want to develop communication skills because I'm a manager at something. So yeah, okay. Yeah. So when you reflect back on the wealth of success you've enjoyed, because you have, what do you wish you had known then that you know now that would have made the difference, Carole Ann?
Well, this is more of a philosophical point in almost any area of my life, and I'm someone who goes to a place of great worry sometimes, and in the past it used to be borderline despair. This isn't going to work, and get very negative, and a dark cloud hang over me. And you know, and sometimes in areas of our life we have those moments. And what I know now when those moments come up is, at some point in the future you will look back and say, it was all going to be all right in the end. And it was all right in the end. So although you think and you haven't got the faith and belief right in that minute that it's all going to turn out well for you, it will. Because it has. And I have had my self-doubts, I've had my struggles, I've been like watching the bank account go down and, oh, it's never going to work. And then when I look back, if only I could just put my arms around my younger self, even 3 years ago, and say, you didn't need to worry quite so much because it was going to be all right in the end. And so many times in my life I could look back and say, God, the amount of worry I put in, the dread, the fear, the upset. No, it was all right in the end, because it is.
Yeah.
As long as you're breathing and you've got a roof over your head, it will be all right, you know. And you will survive and you will learn. And sometimes it's even better than you thought. That's the great thing. When I look back on it, it was much better than I thought it was going to be. If only I'd known, I wouldn't have given myself such a hard time, you know. So have faith. Really hard sometimes, but have faith, total belief that it will get better, and don't go to the dark place, and just keep on keeping on, whatever, regardless. I believe this is going to work for me, and it will.
I think you've touched on something quite important that I've noticed with a lot of coaches, and it's all to do with ego, is that we're perfectionists. We want to be perfect. And I think once we're old and wise enough to give ourselves permission, a bit like the worry, that we don't have to be perfect, we don't have to worry so hard about being perfect, and we can relax a little bit more and be more accepting. And I know the Dalai Lama said something about when it comes to worry, only worry about something that you can control. If it's in the past and it's gone, no worry. If it's in the future, no worry. If it's today and you can do something about it, do something about it. Get a life coach and help you solve the issue, and then worry. Would have said the bit about the life coach if you'd known.
Well, yeah, I'd like to be the Dalai Lama's life coach.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a lot of people's life coach, actually.
Yes, I think he is.
Yeah. Okay, so a bit about you then, Carole Ann. How do you spend your me time? Because you said earlier, if I ever have a little bit of time, so you're very busy, but how do you spend your me time?
Oh, I have I have a lovely time. I have a lovely life. Like this morning, I was having a breakfast, lunch, brunch thing in a beautiful cafe in Richmond by the water. I make time for my friends. I spend every week. I have dinner 2, maybe 3 times a week. Even if it's a coffee, an evening, or a lunch, I make time for friends because I know that it's really important to have people who are your community and that love you and are your support. So I always have a great social life. I absolutely love my morning run, not at the moment because it's pouring down, but I do go for a run. I think as a life coach, it's so convenient to put on your trainers. You've got 40 minutes, maybe even an hour when you're not speaking to someone, fly out the door. You've got your shower upstairs, you come in, you can fit in. You know, I don't go to the gym, it's too long. That's a 3-hour trip, there, back, shower. But, you know, I love a morning run. The change of seasons is beautiful. Sometimes I listen to an Audible coaching book or a woman's hour or some fantastic music. So that's very, very important to me. I read tons. I belong to a book club. I read loads. I read personal development books as well as novels. I just have I love food and drink, as I say, socializing a lot. I go shopping quite a lot. I like clothes.
I know, I've seen some of your glamorous looks at the awards and in the press.
Yeah, love clothes. I think we need to be our brand. I like to look smart for my clients. I see a lot of them face to face. I have to kind of model some of it. Look well, be well dressed, look professional. I think that's important for us coaches, that we are what we are. We walk our talk and we are our own brands. I have so many interests: music, great literature. I go to a lot of things at the V&A talks. I went to see Jane Birkin talk, the guy who started Studio 54. He was talking. June Whitfield in January is talking about her life. I go to a lot of those sort of events.
Okay.
And so very
mind, food for the mind as well as food for the body.
Yes, very much so. But as I say, I really do have a lovely balanced life, and I do get
very grounded.
Yeah, I do get overwhelmed. I do give myself very high goals to reach, but I also play very hard.
Okay, good. Touching on the branding, Carole Ann, I've always loved your big cheesy grin above you. How did you decide on that brand?
Well, it was interesting because when you get a graphic designer to do your logos or whatever, you give them a little bit of a brief, and they came back with a few ideas, and you know, it was like boring business card, some sort of navy blue thing on my card, and something else that was just kind of grey. And I laid them all out, and I said, I want a little caricature, a bit like Bewitched from the 1960s, because I always liked that programme. And everyone that I showed the images to, like the grey business card, the navy blue card, and the bright pink thing that you see above you, almost 100% of people said, don't like that bright pink thing. And I was like, why? And they said, because you won't get any male clients with that, and also you won't get corporate work, and you need something a bit straighter. And I kept umming and ahhing. Everyone says no, you have to believe in yourself, as you know, Dawn. And I thought, no, I'm going to go for it. At the end of the day, I'm not a navy blue and white corporate coach. I'm not a grey kind of coach. I am only me. That's who you're buying. I love Bewitched. She was a magical witch lady, and she was glamorous. And I don't take myself that seriously. And I've had lots and lots of corporate work, male clients, young clients, old clients. They're not put off by that. What I do get is, I went to lots of people's websites, and I kept coming back to your one. And it's memorable. And once when I got my card out in a big networking event, someone scampered across the room. Oh, you're Carole Ann, right? So I just saw your logo on your card. I've always wanted to meet you. So it's done me great service.
And I think that photograph, if you sat down in, I think, blue trousers and maybe a white blouse above it, the two go so perfectly together. The caricature and the real person. I think it's fabulous. Was it the same designer who came up with different ones?
No, it's the
was
same.
It somebody else who got you in a different way?
No, it's just the designer never met me. He was online. He was a student.
Right.
And he because he hadn't seen me, he did it with brown hair, and I said, just click on the yellow button and we've got a deal. So he never did meet me, and just the photographer took the other pictures, and
Very good. I think you've really mastered the brand, which is an issue that a lot of coaches struggle with. Well, not just coaches, but solo entrepreneurs. They have the mixed messages. They create this wonderful name for their website, and it's not their name. And then they do something else with their brand, and they just can't seem to tie it all together.
Yeah, I think well, everything is about knowing yourself, isn't it? And even as a coach, we really need to know who we are. And I can't be inauthentic and try and be someone I'm not. And I am this sort of person. And I'm a very serious coach. I get great results and I take what I do very seriously. However, I present myself in a light-hearted, lifestyle-y way because that's who I am, And I say I've coached at National Children's Bureau. I've coached loads of big charities, Council for Disabled Children, Visa, London School of Economics is one of my big clients. It didn't matter this. The main thing is that you can come in and get results.
Yeah. So somebody who wants to come on your course or work with you in some way, how would they do it? How would they find you? And what could they expect from your services, Carole Ann?
Well, you've got 15 years a coach. There's nothing I haven't heard or had. I mean, within seconds I can get someone's problems. That's where I've got my magic wand finger. I can get to what they want very, very, very quickly. I use a lot of humour. I am intuitive. I know straight away. I'm quite brave. I think the two things a coach must be is courageous and creative. You have to be really courageous as a coach to put yourself out there and ask clients difficult questions, challenging questions, and creative to really help that client find the solution and to get the action they want takes acts of creativity. And so I think that's what you get when you buy me. You get the wraparound 15 years service. When you come on my academy, I've had nothing but glowing praise, and I think my students respect me, and I give them everything, every single cobweb, nook and cranny of my experience I share with them. It's an open book. I will give them all the power tools they need to be a brilliant coach and get great clients, and I can't do more than that. It's every single bit of knowledge that I have. I'm an open book, and they can have it, and they can pick my brains, and I show them exactly what to do. As I say, it's like you can buy someone a pot of paints, and they can either paint the front door or they can paint the Sistine Chapel. What you do with the paints is entirely up to you, and I'll give them that paint box. They can be Leonardo, or they can be a children's illustrator. Whatever they want to do, I will give them the raw materials that they need, and then they help them run with it.
Great. So you're still a young woman, Carole Ann. What's your legacy go? You're still a young woman. You've got plenty of years to go. What's going to be your legacy, do you think?
Well, what I'd really, really love is to open these across the world, the Pure Coaching Academy. I've got international students who come. So there is a student who's qualified with me and accredited now, and she's in Italy. I would love to go over there and start one in Italy. Another coach that's trained with me wants to go to New York. I mean, God, that would be fantastic. So it'd be less one-to-one clients and more of the academies around the world, but equally, I would absolutely love to get on TV to be the UK's TV coach.
Okay. On what programme? Is there a particular programme or your own?
A new program that's about personal development. But I write for the Daily Express each week, and it's a really nice thing to do. Is to have every Monday to have a column about happiness and well-being, and it's really good of the Express to have given me that. But I would love to be. I won't say loose women, because I don't think that would be a very good vehicle for seriousness of coaching. But I would like to represent coaching in a really relatable way, so that any person watching it from a council high-rise to a mansion in the Cotswolds can get a simple bit of coaching that they can apply that very day or in the next hour of their life, so that coaching isn't for just those who can afford our packages, but for everyone.
So I've just had a brainwave. We get the horrible Jeremy Kyle off the morning show. And put you on for an hour every morning. Think how many people's lives you would change.
It would be fantastic. Stop shouting at each other then, wouldn't they?
I say he's horrible. I don't know if he's horrible, but he gets a lot of bad press. But it doesn't seem like a good use of an hour for a lot of people. And coaching would make the difference, wouldn't it?
I think it's a bit voyeuristic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay, so coming towards the end now, because I know you're a busy lady and you've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Which inspirational people would you like at a supper party, dead or alive, and what would you pick their brains over?
Well, I'd like the whole of the Marx Brothers.
Oh, right.
Because I love humour, and I think they're the funniest people ever, and I love that kind of humour. I would have Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, because they were just superb.
Bit of the Rat Pack.
Frank Sinatra was the voice of the 20th century, and I've seen him 3 times live. I've been in the same room as him 3 times, but I've never been that close. It was the Albert Hall.
Okay.
So with Frank Sinatra, I don't think I'd pick his brains, but I'd have a few martinis with him, and I'd get the Marx Brothers to do the fun and the games. I'd quite like to meet Martha Beck, who's Oprah Winfrey's life coach.
Yes.
I think she's brilliant. Brené Brown is a hugely inspirational figure to me. The 3 that I absolutely really rate are Brené Brown, Martha Beck, and Marie Forleo. I think are the world's greatest coaches at the moment. Tony Robbins, not so sure. I think he's a great showman. A lot of his stuff isn't actually translatable or relatable, but I admire him very much what he does. So I think that would probably do it. Maybe Picasso or Dali. I think it'd be a great dinner party.
It would, wouldn't it? Okay. So last question. You're on a desert island. What would be the book you take and the piece of music and your luxury item, please, Carole Ann?
The book would be Be Happy by Robert Holden. It's a book, it's the best book about how to be happy. It's just fantastic. It goes through all the things that we think that will make us happy, like possessions, achievement, and it's just the most lovely, relatable book on happiness.
Okay. I might get that one.
Okay. Piece of music, I think it'll have to be Lovely Day by Bill Withers, because it's very... I mean, I could choose some Frank Sinatra, Tom Waits, I could go on. But I think for sheer joyfulness, it adds a bit of sunshine to any day.
I love that track.
And my luxury, did you say? It would be a fridge of champagne.
And I thought it'd be a bit of bling.
Well, it has to be cold champagne. Well, I'll put it in the sea if I was on a desert island. But a sort of unlimited supply of champagne, I'd have a bottle a day. That would get me through the tedious hours.
Yeah, lots of thinking time. Well, thank you very much for sharing about you and your business. Where can people go to find out more about the work that you do, Carole Ann, please?
Yeah, the coaching academy is purecoachingacademy.com. You can just Google me, Carole Ann Rice, to find Real Coaching Company.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's quite easy, Pure Coaching Academy or the Real Coaching Company.
Excellent. Well, I will keep watching this space and seeing how your legacy develops. And thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.